Today we're talking about the rumored April Nintendo Direct presentation that is supposedly coming to us in a very strange year so far. As Nintendo fans, you probably are all well aware with the fact that normally historically in February we see Nintendo hold some kind of mainline general direct presentation to set up their games lineup for the beginning of the year and into the early to middle portions of the year. We historically see directs, at least the mainline ones, happen in February, June, and September. This is an off year, however, because while we did get a February Nintendo Direct, it was a mini partner showcase focusing only on, of course, partner games, not first-party Nintendo titles. And you could argue that Endless Ocean, because it is a Nintendo IP and it's published by Nintendo, is technically a first-party game. But when it comes to the Marios, Zeldas, Metroids of the world, we're not going to see anything like that show up at a partner showcase, and it leaves many of us Nintendo fans wondering, what else does Nintendo have in store for us this year? Now that Princess Peach Showtime is out on the market, it was literally their only technically brand new game so far for 2024, and we only have Endless Ocean, as mentioned, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, and Paper Mario Thousand Year Door to look forward to through the rest of 2024 when it comes to first-party Nintendo content. And all of that actual info leads fans to believe maybe Nintendo will go off-cycle and not just keep fans waiting until June to hear about anything first-party from them. And you might remember an account by the name of PH Brazil, and interestingly, this person has leaked a lot of things over the course of time, but then got out of the leaking game for a while just because of all of the online discourse and a lot of the hope and expectation set amongst fans. And then if something doesn't happen exactly as said, the blowback and hate that you would potentially get as a leaker trying to share inside info plans when something could potentially change behind the scenes. You know how that stuff goes for these people. So he decided to pull back on all of that. This was, however, the source that was the first major account talking about the internal delay for Switch 2 to 2025 before all of the major outlets like Bloomberg, VGC, Eurogamer, amongst many others, all started to corroborate it. And he made a post following the reports that the February Direct would be a mini partner showcase around what he's heard in terms of presentations through the rest of the year, one of them having to deal with Switch 2. So there's an exciting update around this, a lot to unpack. Before we get on the same page with all the new details, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your bell notification to join Sunbro Nation if you're new here. And I want to first hop over to Family Boards, where you can see the original post back in February from PH Brazil, which reads, "Here's what I've heard post Friday. Direct in April, general or mini, don't know. Indie World before that, probably in March. June for Switch 2 reveal. Everything in flux always, but I'm feeling good, so Now his updated post reads as follows. Hey y'all, stepping in since I've received some DMs and since I was the one to volunteer all of those dates over a month ago, even though I told myself I was out of the event date leak thing a couple years back, I was feeling good that week, shoot me. He links the post from before and then says, I haven't talked to the Indie World source in a few weeks, reached out today, didn't get a response yet, but as far as I'm aware, that presentation could still happen in the time frame I was given. The April Direct is still a go as of last week, but please remember that the last Direct was delayed by a week, the week of, and be kind to Puro, Necro, Nate, and whoever else decides to volunteer any further info. From my end at least, things only really start to materialize in a solid way a week before the planned date. Until then, it's always up in the air, which is why I promise I won't talk about event dates anymore after these go down, haha. So that last portion is really where I want to focus in on first, which is don't take this as a set in stone. It's for sure happening. A April presentation is coming. That is clearly not necessarily the case until Nintendo comes out and confirms it themselves. They can obviously shift plans at any point in time, and until they say it, it is not confirmed. That said, he is very much in the mindset as of a week ago, checking in with the source, that an April presentation is still set to go. Now you might have some pause and think, well, we're rapidly approaching the end of March and an Indie World presentation has not happened yet. We don't have any announcement for one, so maybe that causes some doubt for this rumor. However, he makes it very clear in the post two things. One, it is a separate source for his Indie World contact than it is for his Nintendo Direct contact, which would be a distinguishing factor that one is not reliant on the other. The other thing is that he's still expecting an Indie World to happen as far as he knows, and his speculation was that it would happen in March, but it could very well happen very early April, and then we get the direct following that in the middle or end portion of April. And I do think that this direct actually makes more sense than ever for Nintendo to hold, because with us only looking forward to really 2 games that are both remakes / remasters for the rest of 2024, they're going to need to start to get marketing material going for various other projects. What are we looking at past June? And we might wait until June to get a mainline direct, but I think Nintendo's going to want to start promoting the July, August, September games as soon as April. And in terms of what games I hope we see there, well, I hope we get a big Metroid update. I really think this could be the event that finally shadow drops Metroid Prime 2 and 3 remastered. I am personally predicting those things to be a bundle pack together and them to get kind of a Pikmin 1 and 2 treatment. That was the outstanding rumor, that Prime 1 remastered was getting the quote-unquote big boy treatment, and the other 2 were getting something a little bit more simple. And I could picture Nintendo just literally up-resing the base games and including the modern control options, and outside of that, not changing a whole lot, then slapping them together in a bundle pack and selling it for $60. That's definitely something that they could do. Maybe they do release them individually, but either way, I do think that if they go the individual route, it's at least time to hear about Prime 2 Echoes remastered. And I think Metroid Prime 4 is probably being geared up as a either end of 2024 Switch Swan Song title or a Switch 2 launch window title next year. But with that in mind, it might either way finally be the time to see some Metroid Prime 4 gameplay, or at least a first look at a in-engine trailer of some capacity, so we get an idea of what the world and scope of this game is actually going to look like after all of these years. I personally think that with Pokemon not coming out until 2025, Nintendo has a huge gap in their holiday 2024 games lineup, and they're going to have to come out with some fan favorites or some heavy hitters. I think that the fan favorite games that many of us have wanted for so long is the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD. Yes, these are more ports and remasters, but I think that they're ones that the Zelda community really wants to be able to play on Switch and could likely move the needle in terms of software sales for Nintendo over that holiday 2024 season. Could we learn about one or both of these games at a April Direct? It's entirely possible. I don't know what Nintendo's doing with Donkey Kong now that it's been well over 10 years since we've actually gotten an original game from that franchise, if you can believe it, but I do think it's time to at least acknowledge DK in some way, shape, or form. But I don't know that Nintendo will throw something out DK related towards the end of the Switch's life cycle, or if they're saving his next big adventure for the Switch 2 or the successor to the Switch. I could see them going either route, which leads me for my hope for DK to be actually some kind of country remaster. Let's do 1, 2, and 3 bundled all together with modern HD visuals, kind of like a Sonic Superstars or Mario Wonder / New Super Mario Bros. Style visual, where it's still the original game, the original soundtrack, everything's intact, but you do have modern HD character models on screen and all of the classic platforming and levels that you know and love from the Country 1 through 3 series. I think that would be an awesome collection of games to have all together at the end of the Nintendo Switch's life cycle. We also have long dormant franchises like F-Zero, Star Fox, Kid Icarus, amongst many others that Nintendo could pull from and either give us some kind of easy port or remaster or an entirely new installment in. So there's a lot of reason to be hyped for the next Nintendo Direct, just purely for the simple fact that we don't have much of a clear roadmap of the rest of 2024 past the summertime for Nintendo, and this event supposedly should reveal most of that from a first party perspective. So that's all exciting stuff. Also keep in mind, if this does end up happening, it is that much more likely that we should expect a June time reveal for next generation Nintendo hardware, as this is also the same source that has stated that. So let me know in the comments down below what you make of all of this. Do you think we're getting an April time Nintendo Direct? Are you excited for any potential games to be there, and which ones do you hope we do see revealed at said event? And are you expecting something like a hardware reveal in June, especially if we do see some kind of mainline Direct presentation taking place in April? So regardless of your thoughts and feelings on everything we talked about today, I do look forward to hearing from you all in the comments down below before you leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around these topics. Go watch the video on screen next if you haven't already. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.